Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Now, I'm going to break this down and show you how accountability don't care how much you up the totem pole, if you worth $100 or $100 million or $1 billion like Sean Diddy Combs. So this isn't about Sean Diddy Combs. This is just about showing how accountability works all the way up the chain of command, and one bad decision could crumble your empire, whether it's worth $100 or $1 billion. Sit back, enjoy the ride. I've been there. I was worth millions from selling drugs, poisoning my community. I apologize from the bottom of my heart, and I serve my debt to society. So now I'm using my lived experience to show you what these people are going through, because they're human and they're subject to the law, the same as I am. Let's get this party started. All right? All right, so that's where we at. All right, relax. We're going to get to the jewel in a minute, right? Let me begin by saying I'm going to explain how an empire got quiet. This is how they silenced P. Diddy's empire. And this is the same way they silenced Pooh Shiesty. This is the same way they silenced Little Dirk. And this is the same way they silenced Carmelo Anthony. So this is not about any one person, because, listen, let me tell you this, man. This is definitely not a Diddy documentary. This ain't a bad boy history lesson. This ain't about going back through every party, every video, every lawsuit, every rumor, every person who said they was there. Nah, we're not doing that, you know? Because you already know the history on that. Now, the real story is bigger than Diddy. The real story is what happens when power gets too comfortable. Diddy got too comfortable. What happens when money starts talking louder than morals? What happens when a man builds an empire so big? I mean, he builds an empire so big, he starts thinking the rules don't reach him. One day you got lights. One day all the lights are on you. The cameras, the security, the driver, the assailants, the private rooms, the people nodding yes to everything you say, holding on to your every word, the people opening doors, the people moving out your way. Then one day, the only door that matters is a federal door. And you don't open that door. They open it for you. That's the crash. That's the lesson. Not the music, not the money, not the parties, not the fame. The lesson is this: when accountability does not live in your house, consequences will come knocking from outside. And when consequences knock, they don't care who you used to be. They don't care how many people that used to scream your name. That's irrelevant. They don't care how many records you sold. They don't care how many rooms you controlled. Once the system gets you, you become a number. Did you ever think that P. Diddy would become a number? And that's where a lot of people lose their mind, because they thought they were too big to be reduced. But the system reduces everybody. Rich man, poor man, street man, industry man, celebrity man, everybody. A title can make people open doors for you. But character decides what happens when those doors close. Money can get people around you, but accountability tells you who really belongs there. Power can make people fear. They will fear you because of your power. But fear is not respect. Fear just means people are waiting from a safe distance. And when that distance comes, they would tell the truth about how they really felt. And that's why now that P. Diddy is locked up, everybody's coming out, defecating on his name. Now, I'm gonna give you the jewel in that, Ron. The higher you build without accountability, the louder the fall sounds when the empire gets quiet. This is not about gossip. Now watch this. Most people gonna make this about the dirty deals. Huh? He did dirty deals. Look how he did Locks. Look how he did Little Kim. Look how he did Faith Evans. You know? Look how he did Stevie J. But he stuck by him. Now, most people gonna, like I said, make this about his dirty details, right? They're gonna make it about who was there, who knew what, who said what, who paid what, who stayed silent, who ran when the case got hot. But Unique Mecca Audio don't chase the dirt. We pull the lesson out of the dirt. That's the difference. Because gossip entertains you for the minutes, but a lesson can save your life. And that's what we're doing here, Unique Mecca Audio. We trying to save your life so you understand. This story is about a man who had access to everything: money, power, fame, women, influence, industry respect, corporate relationships, cultural control. But here's the question. Who could tell him no? Who could walk in the room and say, brother, you're wrong? Who could say, stop this before you destroy yourself? Who could say, you're moving like a man with no ceiling over his ego? That's what I want the youth to hear. Because some of y'all want to be the boss, but you don't want nobody to check you. And that's the problem. You want people to fear you. You want people to move when you walk in. You want people to agree before you finish talking. But that ain't power. That's danger. Real power is restraint. Real power is discipline. Real power is knowing you can do something and still choosing not to. Because every appetite don't deserve access. Every desire don't deserve a green light. Every room you can enter ain't a room you should walk into. And everybody that says yes ain't loyal. Some people say yes because they eat off your chaos. Some people say yes because they're scared. Some people say yes because they don't care if you crash. They just want to be close to the car while it's moving. The most dangerous person around a powerful man is the one who benefits from his blind spots. They don't want you to better. They want you useless. They don't want you disciplined. They want you available. They don't want you clean. They want you compromised. Because a compromised man is easier to control. That's why every boss needs somebody around him who's not impressed. Somebody who can say, you wrong, sit down, pull back, think about your children, think about your name, think about your soul, think about the day when this room ain't clapping no more. And now, we're gonna give you the jewel. A real friend will ask your anger to protect your future. The federal lesson, right? Let's talk about the federal lesson that he's supposed to learn while he's serving his time. Now let's talk about the federal part. And I'm not gonna say this simple. The feds don't move like blogs. The feds don't move like street rumors. The feds don't move off emotions. The feds move off paperwork, records, travel, banks, phones, texts, video, witnesses, dates, locations, patterns. They may take years to come, but when they come, they don't come empty-handed. That's why I always tell the youth, do not create a paper trail from your own destruction. Do not turn your lifestyle into evidence. Do not turn your appetite into an indictment. Do not turn your ego into government exhibits, because once they put it in a file, it don't sound like a party no more. It don't sound like fun no more. Remember that. It sounds like count time. It sounds like statutes in a law book. It sounds like sentencing guidelines. It sounds like federal custody. Diddy beat the most serious charges. We know that. That matters. We do not convict a man on what the jury rejected. So all that he was accused of that the jury rejected should be left out of these conversations. But he did not walk away untouched. He still got convicted. He still got sentenced. He still lost freedom. And that's the part people better understand. You could beat the biggest part of the case and still get broken by the part that remained. That's federal court. It ain't about what you escape. It's about what stuck. And if one count sticks, your life can change. Your family can change. Your name can change. Your routine can change. Your future can change. One count can turn a king into a defendant. The courtroom don't care about your highlight reels. It only cares about what can be proven. It don't care how many people used to cheer for you. It don't care how many people used to work for you. It don't care how many people used to need your favor. When that case starts, you're not the boss anymore. You're the defendant. That word right there will humble a man. A defendant, not a CEO, not a legend, not an icon, a defendant. And when they call that name in court, you stand up like everyone else. And that's why I'm going to give you the jewel. In federal court, surviving the worst charge is not the same as escaping consequences. When the room stops clapping, this is the part I want you to feel. Not just hear, feel it. A man like Diddy was used to rooms reacting to him. When he walked in, people looked, people moved, people smiled, people waited, people wanted access. People wanted photos with him. People wanted a deal. People wanted a favor. People wanted to say they knew him. Then the case comes and the room changes. People stop clapping. People stop calling. People stop posting. People stop claiming you. People start saying, I was never that close to him. People say, I don't know nothing about that. People start moving like they never ate from the table. That's when a man learns the difference between loyalty and proximity. Proximity means they were close enough to benefit. Loyalty means they were strong enough to correct you when you was wrong. And a lot of powerful men are surrounded by proximity, not loyalty. That's why when trouble comes, the room evaporates. Now you sitting there with lawyers. Your family hurt, your name damaged, your money bleeding, going to lawyers and lawsuits, your future uncertain, and the same crowd that used to party with you now watching from a safe distance, saying that nigga's a damn fool. That's cold, ain't it? But that's real. That's why you better know who's around you before the crash. Because everybody can stand next to power, but not everybody can stand next to consequences. Some people love the version of you that could help them, but they disappear when the version of you that needs help, they love your table. They love your access. They love your contracts. They love your money. They love your name. But when the name gets heavy, they put it down. When the indictment comes, they get quiet. When the cameras come, they act like they was never in the room. That's why you cannot confuse attendance with loyalty. Just because somebody was there don't mean they was with you. Some people are only present for the benefits, not the burden. So let's take a ride. You young people, when you out there and you got your comrades, your friends, whatever you want to label them as, around you, once you have them around you, you think that they're solid, but you won't find that out until the noise stops, until it's the time when you need them. You ask anyone that's around you, act like you have no money and tell them you need $300 to pay a bill and see what they say. Let's get to the jewel. The room that claps for your power may disappear when your consequences walk in. The dark psychological cell, right? Let's talk about the dark psychological cell. You know, it's the part I like to ride with. Now, we go to the place nobody can film, the cell, not the courtroom, not the red carpet, not the studio, not the mansion, the cell. That little space where your ego got nowhere to perform. That little space where nobody cares about your old title. That little space where you gotta hear keys, count time, doors clanging, open and shut, men coughing, men farting, men talking to themselves, men trying not to break, lights that don't feel like home, food that don't feel like life, a bed that don't feel like rest, and a mind that won't shut down because it's forever running over how did I get here? That's the dark psychological cell. Because the body's in prison, but the mind is the trial. Every night replaying in your mind, how did I get here? Who really loved me? Who was using me? Who did I hurt? Who did I ignore? Who warned me? Why didn't I stop? Why did I think this couldn't happen to me? That's when the real sentence starts. Because the judge can give you months or years, but your mind can give you a life sentence. Your mind can walk you back through every decision, every warning sign, every person you dismiss, every time you got away with something and thought getting away was the same as being right. That matters because getting away only teaches the ego to get bolder. And Diddy got bolder and bolder until one day you don't get away anymore. And now all those years come back at once. That's pressure. That's torture. That's the part the internet don't understand. They think prison is just time. No, prison is time plus memory, time plus regret, time plus shame, time plus silence. A locked door is heavy, but a locked mind is heavier. So you could fully understand that, right? A locked mind is heavier. The camera leaves, the comments slow down, the blogs move on, the internet finds another story, but that man's still gonna sleep with himself. He still gotta wake up with himself. He still gotta hear his own thoughts. He still gotta remember who he was. He still gotta face who he became. And he still gotta wonder, how much of this could I've avoided if I had checked myself earlier, if someone would have been strong enough around me to check me? That's the dark room. Because the cell is the one thing, but regret is another prison. And regret don't need bars. Regret don't need keys. Regret don't need a uniform. Regret can lock a man up inside his own mind. Now, I got to give you the jewel. The body does not sentence, but the mind does the real time. The body does the sentence, but the mind does the real time. When the appetite becomes a master, right? When the appetite becomes a master, this way his alleged sexual appetite became his master. Let's talk like men, right? Every man has appetites. Money appetite, sex appetite, power appetite, control appetite, respect appetite, attention appetite. But a man has to master those appetites, or his appetites will master him. And when appetite becomes your master, you start justifying things. You start saying, I deserve this. I built this. I paid for this. I control this. I can have this. I can fix this later. I can make this go away. That's how the mind lies to itself. That's how power corrupts discipline. That's how a man stops seeing people as people and starts seeing them as access. That's a dangerous place, because the moment you stop seeing people as human, you start treating them like objects. And the moment you start treating people like objects, you create pain. And pain don't always speak right away. Sometimes pain waits. Sometimes pain records. Sometimes pain remembers. Sometimes pain calls a lawyer. Sometimes pain calls the police. And sometimes pain even testifies against you. And that's what Diddy had. A lot of pain testifying against him. Sometimes pain becomes a case. And from Diddy's past, how he dealt with people, those pains became his case. That's why accountability cannot be optional. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself, before your name becomes somebody else's trauma. You got to check yourself before your private room becomes public record. You see how they entered Diddy's bedroom? Who would have thought a man would be on trial for his sexual acts in his own house with adults that consented? But they had reasons for consenting. They got, but this is how it goes. I'm not gonna get into the politics of that, but you got to check yourself before your private rooms become your public record, man. You got to check yourself before your appetite becomes a federal question. Because once you lose control of the story, you can't buy it back. You can't produce it back. You can't remix it back. You can only sit there and face it. And that's what Diddy is doing now. He's sitting there in federal prison facing it. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection from your lower self. A man who cannot tell himself no will one day hear no from a judge. No bond, no freedom, no control, no more calling shots. That's why self-control is not weakness. Self-control is survival. Self-control is wisdom. Self-control is protection. Self-control is a man saying, I could do this, but I'm not going to destroy my life for it. Now, I got to give you the jewel, right? And I've been on here 25 minutes. I be feeling like I'm talking too long. Let me speed this up, right? Yeah, I apologize. Put in the comments. Oh yeah, like I said, right? I've been telling y'all so you understand. You gotta put the, you gotta hit the like button. You gotta get an emoji. You gotta get the hype. You gotta get the comments going in order to get this video out to the masses. Because even though I got over 100,000 subscribers, because I'm not new to this, I'm just true to this. They don't want this type of message to get out like that. And the only way to make that happen is for you to push it by hitting the like, the hype, the comment, the emoji, and all that. And cop the book or Roaring Harlem at roaringharlem.com. Now, let's move forward. We're going to talk about the industry lesson, right? We're going to talk about the industry lesson. But I was supposed to give you the jewel, right? Let me get a jewel, right? Let me get a jewel again, my bad. I forgot to give you the jewel, so let me give you the jewel. An appetite you refuse to control can become the thing that controls your future. The industry lesson, right? Let's talk about the industry lesson, right? You know, he big man in the industry, right? This is bigger than one man. This is an industry lesson because the industry loves power. The industry loves image. The industry loves money. The industry loves rooms where everybody pretends they didn't see it, pretend they didn't know it, pretend it was normal, pretend it was just a lifestyle. But that word lifestyle can be dangerous because people use lifestyle to excuse destruction. They say, that's just how the industry is. That's just how rich people move. That's just how parties go. That's just how power works. No, wrong is wrong in a basement. Wrong is wrong in a hotel. Wrong is wrong in a mansion. Wrong is wrong in a private jet. Wrong is wrong when poor people do it. And wrong is wrong when millionaires do it as well. They're not excused from this. Money does not sanitize damage. Fame does not make disrespect classy. Access does not mean consent. Silence does not mean agreement. And fear definitely do not mean loyalty. And a check does not erase human dignity. That's the message. So whatever these people settle out of court with the people that accused them, that does not erase human dignity. Remember, that's the message. Because too many young people look at the industry like it's freedom. But some of those rooms are traps. Some of those invites are tests. Some of those opportunities come with a price you can't afford. And some of those powerful people are broken people with bigger budgets. Don't be fooled. Every shiny room is not a blessing. Some rooms are warnings. Every invite is not a favor. Some invites are bait with better lighting. Everybody smiling in a room is not safe. Everybody pouring a drink is not your friend. Everybody handing you access is not handing you opportunity. Some people are handing you a trap wrapped in status. That's why the youth need discernment, not just hunger. Hunger will get you in the room. Discernment will tell you when to leave. Sometimes the room you're dying to get into is the same room you'll be begging God to get you out of. And I'm gonna give you the jewel in that. If a room costs you your dignity, that room was never an opportunity. Now, we're gonna talk about the appeal and the waiting game. Right? Because like I said, all this coincides with the past few videos that I've been doing, because now we're going to talk about the appeal and the waiting game. Now, as lawyers are fighting, that's what lawyers do. They're challenging the conviction, they're challenging the sentence, they're arguing the legal issues. They're trying to get a higher court to see it different. And that's his right. Every man has a right to fight his case. But let me explain something, right? An appeal is not freedom. An appeal is not a magic door. An appeal is not the crowd saying free him. An appeal is law, legal error, procedures, standards, records, arguments, and waiting. That waiting will eat at a man. Because every man, every day, they wake up thinking, maybe today, maybe the court rules in my favor. Maybe they send it back to the district judge. Maybe they cut the time. Maybe I go home, then nothing happens. Another count, another meal, another night, another lock-in, another day where your lawyers got hope. But your body is still in custody. That's pressure. That's why I tell people, don't play with a situation that puts your life in other people's hands. When you're free, right? You make choices. When you locked up, you wait on decisions. That is the different type of pain. Out here, you can move. In there, you wait. Wait on count, wait on counsel, wait on mail, wait on calls, wait on visits, wait on count time, wait on a release date. Waiting becomes a sentence by itself. Freedom is not just being outside. Freedom is being able to decide what happens next. When your life is in the hands of paperwork, you would miss the days when it was in your hands. That's why you don't play with court. You don't play with federal cases. You don't play with situations that make lawyers just last. You don't want to play with situations that make lawyers your last hope. Because lawyers can fight, lawyers can argue, lawyers can file motions. But while they do that, you're still locked in your mind, fighting your demons. You're still waiting. You're still counting days. You're still wondering what the next piece of paper gonna say. Would that be my release date? No. Let's get to the truth. When you lose your freedom, you don't just lose movement. You lose control over time. Now, let's get to the message, right? We're gonna get to the message to men with money. Because dudes get money, all these rappers, everybody get money and they think they can do what they want to do. So we're gonna talk about, you know what I mean? We're gonna talk about that, right? The message to the men with money. This one is for men with money. Men with business, men with influence, men with followers, men with teams, men with sign checks. Men who people listen to. Understand this. Money magnifies who you are. If you discipline, money gives you reach. If you broken, money gives you brokenness. It gives your brokenness a budget. If you humble, money can help people. If you arrogant, money can make you dangerous. That's why success requires character. You cannot out-earn your character defects. You cannot outspend consequences. You cannot out-lawyer every decision. You cannot outrun a pattern forever. And you cannot build a real legacy while hurting people in private. Because private pain has a way of becoming public truth. And public truth has a way of becoming permanent. You want to be a boss? Then master yourself first. You want respect? Then respect people who cannot do nothing for you. You want loyalty? Then create a room where trust is safe. You want legacy? Then don't make your children inherit your shame. That's the real boss talk. Not chains, not cars, not control, character, because character is the security that fame cannot buy. Success without character is a tall building with a cracked foundation. It looks strong until the pressure comes in. A man can have a team around him and still have nobody in his life. He can have security at the door and still have no protection from himself. He can have lawyers on call and still make decisions they can't save him from. He can have money in the bank and still be broken and disciplined. That's why character is the real wealth, because character protects money. Character protects what money can only buy. I got to give you the jewel on this one, right? Check. Money can build an empire, but only character can keep it from collapsing. Do you agree with that? Put it in the comments. The message to the youth: young people, listen to me. Don't worship fame. Don't worship money. Don't worship celebrity. Don't worship rooms you don't understand. Don't think because somebody is rich, they're wise. Don't think because somebody is powerful, they're safe to be around. Study the falls, study the courtroom, study the sentences, study the families sitting behind them, study the silence after the cameras leave. That's where the lesson is. A lot of y'all want the lifestyle, but you don't see the price tag. You see the suit, you don't see the indictment. You see the party, you don't see the testimony. You see the mansion, you don't see the cell. You see the bodyguards, you don't see the marshals. You see the private jet, you don't see the transportation van taking you to the prison. That's why I do this, not to glorify the fall, but to prevent the next one. The streets are real. The industry is realer. Temptation is real. Ego is real, but prison is realer. Court is realer. Consequences are realer. And regret is one of the heaviest things a man can carry. The devil don't always show up ugly. Sometimes he shows up with access. In a three-piece suit if it's a man, or a sexy skirt if it's a woman. Opportunity, status, money, attention, a room full of powerful people saying yes. That's why you got to be careful what you chase, because some dreams come with chains attached. Some opportunities come with silence attached. Some lifestyles come with court dates attached. And some doors open fast because they were never meant to let you back out clean. Don't let a lifestyle make you forget your life. Don't let the fame make you forget your morals. Don't let power make you forget God. Because when everything crashes, all you got left is who you really are. Now, let me give you the jewel in that. Then I'm going to ride into, I got to give you the final word, right? I got to give you the final word. I got to give you the final word. Now, the jewel. Don't chase a lifestyle that can make your freedom the payment. Now I'm going to give you the final word, right? So no, this is not just about Diddy. This is about every man who thought success made him untouchable. Every man who confused fair with respect. Every man who confused silence with agreement. Every man who confused money with morals. Every man who let appetite sit in the driver's seat. Every man who had warning signs but kept speeding. The case is still being fought. Remember that. The lawyers are still arguing. The appeal is still part of the story. But the lesson is always here. Check yourself early. Check your circle. Check your appetite. Check your ego. Check your power. Check your people. Check how people feel when they're around you. Check if people can tell you the truth. Check if your private life can survive a public life. Because if it can't, you're not powerful. You're not exposed. You're extremely exposed. And exposure has a clock. It may not ring today, it may not ring tomorrow, but it rings. Everybody hears it. And once that bell rings in federal court, the party's over. The music stops, the room goes quiet. And the only thing left standing is the truth. The truth does not need a crowd. The truth can walk into a room by itself and shut everything down. A man is not exposed when people find out. He was exposed when he started living in a way he had to hide. That's the real lesson. Don't build a life that needs darkness to survive. Don't build a name that can't handle questions. Don't build a room where nobody can tell you no. Don't build an empire of fear, because fear would never protect you. It would only keep people quiet until they're far enough away to talk, or they bury you far enough away to talk. And when they talk, boy, do they talk. The same power that made you feel uncomfortable becomes the evidence that you lost control. The lesson is not that Diddy fell. The lesson is that no man is too high to fall when accountability is missing, right? Now, I gotta ask you these questions, then we're out of here, right? Now, question one, did Diddy really lose everything in your opinion? I say not everything, but he lost the one thing money can't replace, and that's his freedom. And the jewel is when freedom leaves, everything else starts feeling smaller. Question two, did he beat the case? Answer, he beat the most serious charges, but he did not walk away clean. One conviction can still change your life forever. The system don't need everything to stick. Sometimes one thing is enough. Third question, what is the biggest lesson for men? Answer, power without restraint is dangerous. If you can't control yourself, something else will control you. Self-control is the first real security system, right? Now, question four, what is the biggest lesson for women? What do you think the biggest lesson for women is? Put it in the comments in this. The answer, fame and money do not automatically mean safety. Pay attention to power, control, boundaries, and how people act when nobody can check them. And that would tell you everything. The jewel in that is, safety is not in someone's status. Safety is in someone's character. Question five, why do powerful people fall so hard? In your opinion, why do you think powerful people fall so hard? Because many of them are surrounded by people who want access, not people who tell the truth. And the jewel in that, a yes man can be more dangerous than envy or an enemy. Question six, is prison different for celebrities? Do you think prison is different for celebrities or not? Their attention is different, but the loss of freedom is real. A locked door does not care about your fame. Remember that. Now, the jewel in that is, fame gotta hit the bell. Fame may change how people look at you, but it does not unlock the door. Question 7, can his appeal change everything? Do you think Diddy's appeal, if granted, could change everything? It may change part of the legal outcome, but it cannot erase the humiliation, the damage, the weight on the time already lost. Now, let me give you a mini jewel in that, right? I gotta give you a mini jewel in that, man. An appeal may fight the sentence, but it cannot give back peace overnight. Question 8, why does this story matter to the youth, to you? Why do you think this story matters to the youth? We're in class right now, I'm your professor. Answer the questions. You're on YouTube taking a class on survival right now. Now, why does this story matter to the youth? Because young people need to see the full picture, not just the money, not just the fame, not just the courtroom, the cell, and the shame is what they need to see. And the people left crying after the cameras leave. And that's what we bring you here, Unique Mecca Audio. Now, the jewel. The lesson is always hiding behind what the internet makes entertainment. Question 9. What destroys more men, hate or ego? In your own words, what destroys most men or more men, hate or ego? Answer, ego, because ego makes a man ignore warnings until consequences are standing in front of him. And the jewel in that, ego will make you defend the same thing that is destroying you. Meaning you're saying, oh, I'm only doing it because this. That's when you start what we call in psychological terms mollifying something. Mollify means to make an excuse to justify a right, a wrong, you know, when you know you was wrong. Question 10. What is the Unique Mecca Audio verdict? What do you think my verdict is right now? My verdict is the streets are real, the industry is real, power is real, the prison is realer, court is realer, consequences are realer, and none of it is worth your freedom. So don't say, I didn't give you the jewel. I gave y'all a lot of powerful jewels in here. Hit the like button, hit the icon, hit the comment, and hit the hype. Let's get this viral. And don't forget to subscribe and notify, turn on the bell. Now, the final jewel is a man can own the room, own the money, and own the moment. But if he does not own himself, he can lose it all. Now, so this is where we at. I'm glad y'all tapped in, and I'm gonna show you why I do this. I'm gonna play my young man, Murder Mook, so you can check this out. All right?
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, shit be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that, way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Ayo, out the can of 26. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. Baby horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the